I stood at the edge of Riverside Memorial Gardens in Calgary, watching the November rain turn the autumn leaves into a slick carpet of copper and gold. My grandson Tyler pressed against my side, his small hand gripping my coat. He was only 13, but he'd already learned to recognize the weight of silence. "Grandpa," he whispered, looking up at the cluster of black umbrellas gathered around the grave. "Why isn't Uncle Derek crying?" I followed his gaze to my son-in-law, standing rigid beside the casket. Derek's face was blank, almost bored, while others dabbed at their eyes. My daughter Rachel had been his wife for 18 years, the mother of his children, and there he stood like he was waiting for a bus. "Some people grieve differently," I told Tyler, but the words tasted like lies. Derek caught my eye across the grave and gave me a curt nod before checking his phone. Actually checking his phone. At his wife's funeral, my hands curled into fists inside my coat pockets. The service ended, and people filed back to their cars. Derek intercepted me before I could reach mine. "James, we need to talk," he said, his voice flat and businesslike. "About the house." "The house?" I repeated slowly. My daughter had been in the ground for less than 20 minutes. "Rachel's house." "Well, our house." He glanced at Tyler, then back to me. "The mortgage is substantial. With her gone, I can't maintain it alone. I'm thinking we should sell quickly while the market's still strong." I stared at him. "Your wife just died." "Which is exactly why we need to be practical." Derek's jaw tightened. "Look, I know this seems sudden, but sitting on the property won't bring her back. I've already spoken to a realtor. We could list it next week, have it sold by Christmas." "Next week?" Something cold settled in my chest. "Derek, her things are still in that house. Her clothes, her books, the kids' memories, which is why I'd appreciate your help clearing it out." He pulled out a keyring. "I'm swamped at work, and honestly, I can't handle going through her stuff right now. Too emotional. You'd be doing me a favor. Here's the spare key." The key felt heavy in my palm. Too heavy. "What about Tyler?" I asked. "And Madison?" Madison was Derek's daughter from his first marriage, 24 now and recently moved back home. She hadn't come to the funeral, said she was sick. "They're dealing with it in their own way," Derek said quickly. "Madison's been a huge support. She's been helping me with the arrangements, the paperwork, and Tyler's better off staying with you for a while. You two have always been close." That much was true. Since Rachel got sick 6 months ago, Tyler had spent more weekends at my place than at home. "How long is a while?" I asked. "Until we get the house situation sorted." Derek was already backing away toward his Lexus. "Thanks, James. I knew I could count on you. I'll text you the realtor's number." I watched him drive off, Tyler still clutching my hand. "Grandpa?" Tyler's voice was small. Dad didn't cry at all. Not even when they lowered Mom into the ground. "I noticed, buddy, and Madison wasn't even there." "I know." Tyler looked up at me with Rachel's green eyes. "Something's wrong, isn't it?" I wanted to tell him he was imagining things. That grief made people act strangely. But I'd learned long ago not to lie to this kid. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Something's wrong." That night, after Tyler fell asleep in the guest room, I sat in my study with a tumbler of scotch and my daughter's face staring at me from a photograph. She was laughing in the picture, head thrown back, full of life. That was 3 years ago, before the diagnosis, before the treatments, before whatever killed her finally succeeded. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek with the realtor's contact information, followed by, "Sooner the better. Property values might drop if we wait." I deleted the message and poured another drink. 3 days later, I drove to the house in Elbow Park. It was a beautiful property, a 2-story brick colonial, with a maple tree in the front yard that Rachel had planted when Tyler was born. The tree's branches were nearly bare now, skeletal against the gray November sky. I let myself in with the spare key. The house was quiet, but not empty feeling, more like it was holding its breath. Derek had already started packing. Boxes were stacked in the hallway, some labeled in Madison's neat handwriting. "Kitchen, living room, donate." One box near the stairs was marked Tyler, childhood things. I looked inside and found old report cards, artwork, a stuffed dinosaur Tyler had loved when he was 5. Something about it bothered me. The efficiency of it, the cold cataloging of a life interrupted. I climbed the stairs to the master bedroom, each step creaking under my weight. The room still smelled like Rachel's perfume, something floral she'd worn since high school. Her side of the closet was untouched, dresses and sweaters hanging in color-coordinated rows. She'd always been organized like that. Derek's side was already half empty. I started with the dresser, folding Rachel's scarves and placing them in a box marked Keep, Personal. My hands were shaking. This wasn't right. None of this was right. My daughter had died suddenly, no warning, just collapsed in the kitchen while making dinner. The coroner said, heart failure. But Rachel was only 43. She'd been weak from the cancer treatments, yes, but her last scan had shown improvement. She was supposed to be getting better. I opened the bottom drawer of her dresser, looking for the photo albums she'd kept there. Instead, my fingers brushed against something unexpected, something hard and rectangular, hidden under a stack of winter sweaters. I pulled out a metal box, about the size of a hardcover book. It was locked, but I recognized it. I'd given it to Rachel when she was 16, a fireproof document safe for her important papers. She'd kept her passport in it, her birth certificate, her will, but this box was heavier than I remembered. I tried the lock, still needed the key. Rachel had kept it on her keyring, but her keyring would be wherever Derek had put her personal effects. I was about to put the box back when I noticed something tucked into the seam of the drawer. A piece of paper, folded small and tight. I pulled it free and unfolded it. Rachel's handwriting, shaky but unmistakable. Dad, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. The key is behind my jewelry box. Please, you have to open it. You have to protect Tyler. They're going to take everything from him. They already took me. Are possible. The paper slipped from my fingers. They already took me. I grabbed the jewelry box from the dresser top with trembling hands. Behind it, taped to the wall, was a small key. I snatched it and sat on the edge of the bed, the metal box in my lap. The key turned smoothly. The lid opened. Inside wasn't what I expected. No documents. No will. Instead, there was a USB drive, a manila envelope thick with papers, and another note on top, longer this time. Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have told you weeks ago, but I was scared. I still am. But I can't let Tyler grow up thinking I just gave up. I didn't. I fought. I'm fighting right now, even though I know I'm losing. I found out 2 months ago that Derek and Madison have been poisoning me. I know how it sounds. I know you'll think the cancer meds made me paranoid. But it's true. It started after my last scan came back clear. I was in remission, Dad. The cancer was gone. I was so happy. But Derek wasn't. He got quiet, angry, even. I didn't understand why until I found the life insurance policy. He took it out 6 months ago, right after my diagnosis. $3 million, double indemnity if I die within 2 years. He didn't tell me. I found the papers in his desk when I was looking for Tyler's birth certificate for his school registration. That's when I started paying attention. Really paying attention. And I noticed things. The tea Derek made me every night. How he'd insist I drink it all. How Madison would watch me drink it with this strange look on her face. How they'd both leave the room right after, whispering together. I started feeling worse after the tea. Dizzy, nauseous, heart racing. I thought it was the cancer coming back, but then I switched cups one night without them seeing. I poured the tea down the sink and filled the cup with water. That night, I felt fine. I took one of Derek's tea bags to a lab. They found digitalis. It's from foxglove plants. It causes heart arrhythmia if you take enough of it. Looks like natural heart failure, especially in someone with a compromised immune system from cancer treatment. I collected evidence. Everything's on the USB drive. Recordings of their conversations. The lab report. Bank statements showing Madison's gambling debts and Derek's business losses. Text messages between them. Even video from the nanny cam I hid in the kitchen. I know I should go to the police. But Dad, I'm so weak. The digitalis has been in my system for weeks, maybe months. Even if I stop drinking the tea, the damage is done. My heart is failing. For real this time. I can feel it. And I'm terrified that if I report them now, they'll hurt Tyler. He's just a kid. He doesn't know anything. But if Derek and Madison think he might have heard something, might be a witness, I can't risk it. So I'm hiding this where only you will find it. You're the only person I trust. The only one who'll believe me. The only one who can protect Tyler. Please, Dad. Don't let them get away with this. Don't let them have the insurance money. Don't let Tyler think his mother just died from being sick. I fought. I'm still fighting. But I need you to finish this fight for me. I love you. Tell Tyler I love him. Tell him I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough. Rachel. I couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. I read the letter again, then a third time, hoping the words would change. They didn't. My daughter had been murdered. I opened the manila envelope with shaking hands. Inside were printouts. Bank statements showing Derek's construction company was hemorrhaging money, nearly bankrupt. Loan documents. Credit card bills with Madison's name, maxed out at $70,000 in gambling debt. And then the life insurance policy. $3 million. Policy date. 6 months ago, right after Rachel's cancer diagnosis. Derek was listed as the sole beneficiary. I plugged the USB drive into my phone using an adapter I kept in my wallet. The files loaded slowly, and I clicked on the first one. It was a video file, dated 3 weeks ago. The video showed the kitchen from an elevated angle. Rachel must have hidden the camera on top of the cupboards. The timestamp said 9:47 p.m. Derek entered, followed by Madison. They were laughing about something. Is she asleep? Madison asked. Out cold. I gave her an extra sleeping pill. Derek pulled a container from the spice cupboard. Not a spice. A small brown bottle with no label. How much longer? Madison leaned against the counter, watching him measure drops into a teacup. Doctor says her heart's already weakened. Maybe a week. 2 at most. And you're sure they can't trace it? Digitalis breaks down quickly in the system. Even if they test for it, they'll just think it's from her heart condition. Which, technically, it is now. Derek smiled. Actually smiled. We just helped it along. Madison laughed. $3 million. We can finally be free of all this. The debts, the struggling, pretending to care about her cancer sob stories. Split 50-50, Derek said, like we agreed. What about Tyler? What about him? Derek poured hot water into the poisoned cup. He's a kid. He'll get over it. Kids are resilient. Doesn't he inherit anything? There's a trust fund from her parents. But I'm the trustee until he's 25. Plenty of time to drain it for expenses. Derek picked up the tea. Come on. Let's go deliver her nighttime tea like the devoted husband and stepdaughter we are. They both laughed again as they left the kitchen. I stopped the video, bile rising in my throat. There were more files, more videos, more evidence, recordings of conversations where they discussed the poisoning, the insurance money, their plans for Tyler's trust fund. Rachel had documented everything, but she hadn't survived long enough to use it. I sat on that bed for 2 hours, going through every file. The lab report confirmed digitalis in the tea. Rachel's medical records showed progressive heart damage consistent with digitalis poisoning. There were photos of the bottle Derek kept hidden in the spice cupboard. And there was a final video file, dated 4 days before Rachel died. It was just her face, filmed in the bathroom late at night. She looked exhausted, her skin gray, her eyes hollow. Dad, if you're watching this, you found everything. I know it's a lot. I know it's horrible. But please believe me. Please don't let them win. She paused, pressing a hand to her chest. My heart is racing all the time now. I can barely walk up the stairs. I think I only have a few more days, maybe less. Tears streamed down her face. I'm not ready to die. I'm only 43. I was supposed to beat the cancer. I was supposed to watch Tyler graduate high school, go to college, get married. I was supposed to have more time. She wiped her eyes, tried to compose herself. But if I can't have that time, then at least let me make sure Tyler's safe. That's all I want now. Promise me, Dad. Promise me you'll protect him. Don't let Derek anywhere near him. Don't let Madison either. They're dangerous. They killed me for money. They'll do anything to keep that money. She leaned closer to the camera. I love you, Dad. Thank you for being the best father a girl could ask for. Thank you for believing me when no one else would have. And please tell Tyler that his mother loved him more than anything in this world. Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him I tried. The video ended. I closed the phone and sat in the darkness of Rachel's bedroom, my daughter's words echoing in my head. They killed my little girl. For money. I looked around the room, at the boxes Derek had already packed, at how quickly he wanted to sell the house, erase Rachel from existence, take the insurance money, and move on with his life. Not happening. I carefully repacked the metal box, took it and the note, and walked out of that house. I had work to do. The next morning, I drove straight to the Calgary Police Service headquarters downtown. I asked for the detective division and was directed to a detective, Sarah Martinez. She was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. "How can I help you, Mr. Thornton?" she asked, gesturing to a chair in her office. I placed the metal box on her desk. "I need to report a murder. My daughter, Rachel Thornton Harrison. She died 5 days ago. The death certificate says heart failure. It wasn't." Detective Martinez opened the box, looked at the contents, and her expression changed. "I'm going to need you to tell me everything," she said. I did. 2 hours later, Detective Martinez was on the phone with the medical examiner, requesting Rachel's body be exhumed for a full toxicology screening. She'd watched the videos, read the letters, examined the evidence. "This is substantial," she said, "but I need to verify it. The lab report, the videos, the timeline. If everything checks out." She looked at me seriously. "Mr. Thornton, what your daughter documented here is premeditated murder. Both your son-in-law and his daughter could be looking at life in prison." "Good," I said flatly. "Where's your grandson now?" "With me. At my house. Keep him there. Don't let Derek know where he is. Don't answer calls from Derek or Madison. If this is real, and I believe it is, they're dangerous. Especially if they think Tyler might know something. Tyler doesn't know anything. They don't know that." I felt cold. "You think they'd hurt him, Mr. Thornton? They poisoned his mother for insurance money." "Yes, I think they'd hurt him if they thought he was a threat." I called Tyler on the drive home and told him to lock the doors, not to answer for anyone but me. He was scared but did as I asked. The next 72 hours were the longest of my life. Detective Martinez worked fast. The exhumation was expedited. The toxicology report came back. Digitalis. Just like Rachel had said. Levels high enough to cause fatal cardiac arrest in someone with a weakened immune system. The police executed a search warrant on Derek's house. They found the brown bottle in the spice cupboard, right where Rachel's photo had shown it. They found Derek's financial records showing the bankruptcy, the debts, the insurance policy. They found text messages between Derek and Madison. One message, sent the day before Rachel died. "It's almost over. Tomorrow night. Double dose." Madison's response? "Finally. I'm so tired of pretending to care." On the 4th day, Detective Martinez called me. "We're making arrests today. I wanted you to hear it from me first." "Both of them?" "Both of them. Derek Harrison and Madison Harrison. First-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, theft. The Crown Attorney is pushing for the maximum sentence." I closed my eyes. "Thank you. Thank your daughter. She did all the work. I've never seen a victim document their own murder this thoroughly. She must have been incredibly brave." "She was," I said, my voice breaking. "She really was." Derek and Madison were arrested that afternoon at the house. The news covered it, cameras catching Derek's face as he was led out in handcuffs, Madison screaming that it was all a misunderstanding. Tyler watched the news with me, sitting on the couch with his arms wrapped around his knees. "Mom knew," he said quietly. "Didn't she? That's why she wanted me to stay with you more." "Yeah, buddy, she knew. Why didn't she tell the police?" "She was scared for you. She thought if she reported them, they might hurt you to keep you quiet. So she just let them kill her?" Tyler's voice cracked. "To protect me?" I pulled him close. "She didn't let them do anything. She fought back the only way she could. She made sure they'd pay for what they did, and she made sure you'd be safe. I don't want to be safe if it means she's dead." "I know. But that's what parents do. We protect our kids, no matter what it costs us." Tyler cried then, and I held him while he sobbed, my own tears falling into his hair. The trial took 8 months. I attended every day, Tyler beside me when school allowed. The Crown Attorney presented Rachel's evidence, piece by piece. The videos played on screens in the courtroom, Derek and Madison's voices echoing through the silent room as they discussed poisoning my daughter. The jury saw the lab reports, the financial records, the insurance policy, the text messages. Rachel's final video, recorded days before her death, explaining everything. Derek's lawyer tried to argue that Rachel had been delusional from cancer medication, that the digitalis was from a heart condition she'd already had, that the videos were taken out of context. The jury didn't believe him. Madison's lawyer tried to claim she was just following Derek's lead, that she was a victim too. The jury didn't believe her either. After 3 days of deliberation, the verdict came back. Guilty. On all counts. Both of them. Derek was sentenced to life in prison, no parole eligibility, for 25 years. Madison got 20 years, eligible for parole after 12. Tyler squeezed my hand when the sentences were read. He didn't smile, didn't cheer, just sat there, tears streaming down his face. "Is it over?" he whispered. "Yeah, buddy, it's over." But it wasn't. Not really. Tyler still had nightmares, still woke up crying for his mother, still asked questions I couldn't answer. "Why did they do it?" he asked one night, months after the trial. $3 million isn't worth killing someone. No, it's not, I agreed. But people like Derek and Madison don't think the way we do. They saw your mother as an obstacle, not a person. They saw you as a bank account, not a kid. They're broken inside in a way that can't be fixed. Do you think Mom knew, before it happened, that she wouldn't survive? I thought about Rachel's letter, her final video. Yeah, I think she knew. And I think she made peace with it, because she knew you'd be okay. She knew I'd find the evidence and finish what she started. Tyler nodded slowly. I miss her so much. Me too, buddy. Every single day. We visited Rachel's grave every Sunday after that. Tyler would bring flowers, usually the purple irises she'd loved. He'd sit by her headstone and talk to her about school, about his friends, about the hockey team he'd joined. "Grandpa says you were brave," he told her one Sunday, his fingers tracing her name on the stone. "That you saved me. I wish you hadn't. I wish you just told the police and let them protect both of us. But Grandpa says parents don't think that way, that you'd do it again if you had to." He wiped his eyes. "I'm going to make you proud, Mom. I'm going to be someone worth saving. I promise." I stood a few feet back, giving him privacy, and I thought about what Rachel had done, how she'd faced her own death with courage and clarity, how she'd documented everything, built a case against her killers, ensured they'd be caught even after she was gone. She'd been sick, weak, dying, and still she'd fought. That's what I told Tyler as we drove home that evening. "Your mother taught us something important," I said. "She taught us that even when you can't save yourself, you can still make sure the truth comes out. You can still protect the people you love. You can still fight, right up to the end." "Is that what you would have done?" Tyler asked. I thought about it. I hope so, but I hope I never have to find out. We drove in silence for a while, the late afternoon sun painting the sky orange and purple. "Grandpa," Tyler said quietly, "can I live with you? Not just for now. Forever? Forever's a long time, buddy. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay with you. You're the only family I have left." I reached over and squeezed his shoulder. "Then that's what we'll do. You and me. We'll figure it out together." "Just like you and Mom figured it out?" "Yeah, just like that." Tyler smiled for the first time in months. A small smile, but real. 3 years have passed now. Tyler's 16, thriving in school, playing hockey 3 times a week. He still visits Rachel's grave every Sunday, still talks to her, still misses her. But he's okay. We're okay. The insurance company refused to pay out the policy, of course. Murder for profit voids the claim. Derek lost everything. The house was sold, the proceeds going to Rachel's estate, which meant Tyler's trust fund. I'm the trustee now, court appointed. Every penny will go to Tyler's education, his future. Madison's parole hearing is coming up next year. Tyler has already written a letter to the board, asking them to deny it. He's stronger now, more confident. He wants to face her, to tell her what she took from him. I'll be there beside him when he does. People ask me sometimes how we got through it. How Tyler recovered from losing his mother that way. How I dealt with knowing my daughter was murdered slowly, over months, while I was oblivious. The truth is, we didn't get through it alone. We had Rachel's courage to guide us. Her final act of love, documenting everything, making sure justice would be served, gave us purpose when we had none. And we learned something important. Something I wish I'd known years ago. Something I wish I could tell every parent, grandparent, anyone who loves someone. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't dismiss your concerns. Don't let people convince you you're being paranoid or oversensitive. Rachel knew something was wrong. She trusted that feeling. And because she did, because she investigated and documented and prepared, Tyler is safe now. The people who killed her are in prison where they belong. If she'd ignored her instincts, if she'd convinced herself she was imagining things, Derek and Madison would have gotten away with murder. They'd have the $3 million. They'd have drained Tyler's trust fund. They'd be living their best lives while my daughter rotted in the ground. But she didn't ignore it. She fought. Even when she was dying, she fought. That's the legacy she left Tyler. Not money, not property, but the lesson that you fight for what's right. You protect the people you love. You don't give up, even when giving up would be easier. Even when giving up means you might live. Tyler understands that now. He carries it with him. And when he graduates high school next year, when he goes off to university to study law like he's planning, he'll carry his mother's courage with him. Because Rachel didn't just save her son's life that day, she hid the evidence. She taught him how to live. And that's worth more than any insurance policy, any inheritance, any amount of money in the world. Every time I look at Tyler now, laughing with his friends, or focused on his homework, or talking to his mother's headstone, I see Rachel in him. Her determination, her fierce love, her refusal to quit. Derek and Madison took her life. But they didn't take her legacy. That lives on in Tyler, in the man he's becoming, in the truth she made sure would never die, and in the quiet vengeance of a mother who loved her son enough to document her own murder so he'd never have to wonder why she left him. That's real love. The kind that survives death, that transcends graves, that changes lives decades after the person is gone. That's the kind of love worth fighting for, worth dying for, even. Rachel knew that. And now, so do we.